Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of the Mushu podcast, the cricket edition. And in this episode, obviously, we're going to talk about the comprehensive, the amazing and the astonishing win by the Indian cricket team over the Australian Test cricket team in the first Test match at Perth in the Border Gavaskar Trophy 2024-2025. First, let's look at some statistics and then we'll look at the analysis of the whole Test match. This was a team that made only 150 runs in the first innings and then went on to win by almost 300 runs. That's massive. It is India's third biggest win in overseas test conditions. It is the biggest test match win against the Sena countries in terms of runs. Sena is South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia. Second biggest loss in terms of runs at home for the Aussies in the last 40 years. Now let's look at the analytics. Let's analyze this test match. Now, if you remember in the first episode, I had mentioned to you all that Australians had planned this test match, the first test match at Perth, because looking at the track record of the Indian cricket team losing the first test match regularly and then also Perth giving them the best chance to win a test match, to start the series with a test match win, it backfired on them really badly. So that's the reason why this win is so very important. A test match with the Aussies was supposed to win, they lost, and that also comprehensively. Also, do not forget, now this is, as I said, an ace that they had played earlier. And now they move on to Adelaide, and that is the second kind of the ace that they had put up first, saying that these are the two test matches where we are most likely to win, and that will give us a chance to win the series. But the first test match they have already lost. Let's see what happens in Adelaide, and we'll discuss the Adelaide test match a bit later on in the third episode. Now let's analyze this test match. Now, being all out for 150 runs in the first innings, yes, Australians bowled very well, but then the Indian bowlers fought back brilliantly. Obviously, through the brilliant Bumrah, and obviously, as I mentioned to you in the first episode also, that if India has to do well in this test series, the Shiraz has to bowl very well, and this is what Shiraz did in this test match. Once Bumrah finished his overs, or while Bumrah was bowling, Shiraz at the other end was as hostile and as penetrative as Bumrah. Just look at the figures. In the first innings, Bumrah 18 overs, 6 maidens, 30 runs, 5 wickets. Shiraz 13 overs, 7 maidens, 20 runs and 2 wickets. This made Australia got out all for 105. But when they got out, imagine chasing down 150 in the first innings, they get all out by 105. That itself is a very big setback for them. But also what happened was that by getting out early, we Indians in the second innings got to play on the best batting conditions in that test match. In most of the Australian grounds, venues, the second day, that is after lunch, and towards the third and the full third day, this is the best batting conditions for any team. So when we got them all out as soon as possible in the first innings, we got to utilize, we got to use the best batting conditions in this test match, and the results we can see from the results itself. Also, do not forget that by not only that, yes, we talk about Shiraz, we talk about Bumrah, but even the other bowlers, the debutants, Harshit Rana bowled also very, very well. Now comes the second innings. Jaiswal, who was who is being tagged as the next biggest legend in Indian cricket, or maybe in the cricketing world. And people are always wondering that if this person, if this batter do well in Sena conditions, in overseas conditions, and he proved everyone wrong. Even though, now look at his mental strength. Even when he got out on 0 in the first innings, in the second innings, he made a massive 161 runs. And that just proves that's, I think, not proves, but at least he's now on his way, hopefully, to become one of the legends of cricket, especially Indian cricket. Along with him, the another person who was kind of doubtful as how he is going to perform, KL Rahul. First innings played very well, unfortunately, controversially got out. And in the second innings, he also played very well. And both these batters put up 201 runs in the first partnership. Now, as openers, to put up 201 runs is massive. It is since 1999, it has happened only 81 times out of almost 1,200 test matches. So you can imagine the importance, and I feel this is one of the main factors which led to the victory for Team India. Because once Australia were already demoralized when they got all out at 105, and suddenly the opposition puts up in the first wicket partnership puts up 201 runs. That kind of broke the back for the Aussies. Then comes, obviously, one thing I also like to mention here is, so look at Jaiswal. First of all, let us look at Jaiswal's, why Jaiswal is going to be touted as or is becoming the next legend of cricket. He made, as I said, 0 and 161 runs in this test match. He has already made 1,568 runs in 15 test matches, average of 58.1, and with a amazing and a very healthy strike rate of almost 65. Now that is really, really good, isn't it? He has played, I think his first test century was in West Indies, then he came to India, he made a lot of runs here, and now he's made the runs in the first test match in Australia, in the Sena country. Then we talk about Kohli's century. Now that is again something which is a very dangerous thing to happen, because if Kohli hits form, and we all know he loves playing in Australia, and once he hits form, we expect him to make a lot of runs in the next 4 test matches, fingers crossed. Now also in my first episode, I had talked about this player called Nitish Kumar Reddy, and I mentioned in the first episode. By the way, if you want to listen to my first episode, you can. The link is provided in the description of this video, and on top you can see the information icon. You can click the information icon and access the first episode if you want to do it. Now, I had mentioned in the first episode that Nitish Kumar Reddy, and Nitish Kumar Reddy, I feel, is going to be a kind of the impact player of this for the Indian cricket team, and luckily he has proven me right. First innings, an invaluable 41 runs he made, along with obviously Rishabh Pant. Then in the second innings, he made a quick fire 38 runs out of 27 balls. And also, when he started bowling in the second innings, he took a crucial wicket of Mitchell Marsh. Now, this is a kind of all-rounder that Indian cricket team is looking for after Hardik Pandya, and obviously after the great Kapil Dev. I'm not saying Nitish Kumar Reddy is going to be, can't compare him to Kapil Dev, at least as of now, but this is the kind of impact players that we want in our team, who, besides obviously we know that all these other players are going to do well, but when this person comes in and plays a very crucial innings and takes some crucial wickets, that is a definition of a good all-rounder. Then we talk about obviously the debutants, Ashit Rana, Nitish Kumar Reddy, And also, Pant also playing his usual innings in Australia. First innings obviously played very well along with Nitish Kumar Reddy, and this is the reason why we went on to win the Test match. Somehow I felt that the Australian bowlers surprisingly didn't bowl very well, according to me. Yes, they did get out India in the first innings at 150 runs. They did bowl pretty well, but not as good as expected on Perth conditions. It looked as if they were very much focused on attacking the fourth and the fifth stump line, and they kept persisting on it, and the Indian batters adjusted very well against that. Whereas the Indian bowlers, I think, bowled very well in terms of trying to hit the stumps as much as possible. Yes, of course, they were trying to beat the bat also by bowling the fourth and the fifth stump line. But if you look at the wickets, that Indian bowlers got, a lot of them were more or less very close to the fourth stump or hitting the off stump. So they attacked the stumps more, and that's the reason we got a lot of leg before wickets, which is uncharacteristic of Perth, because the bounce is so high that most of the balls which hits the pads would go over the stumps. But it just proves that we bowl more fuller lengths and we attack the stumps more, which is quite surprising, because the Australian bowlers are so experienced and are so aware of bowling in the Australian conditions that I think they missed a trick there. Now Australia is under a lot of pressure. I anyway mentioned in the first episode that it is not India who's under pressure, it's the Australian team that is under pressure in this series, because they do not want the tag of losing 3 test match series consecutively against India at home. Now the pressure mounts. Will Australia fight back? I am sure that they will, and I hope that they will, because that will create a very interesting test series to watch. But at the same time, as an Indian, I hope that we blow them away in this test series. We have one more test match coming up next week against in Adelaide. Again, as I mentioned to you in my first episode, that these 2 test matches are very, very crucial for the Indian cricket team. And if we somehow manage this test match well also in Adelaide, then I'm pretty sure we're going to win the series. So next week, yes, of course, before the second test match, I will be launching my 3rd episode to analyze the Adelaide test match. And congrats Team India for an amazing win, and see you next week. Take care. Goodbye.